Today in History. Today it's April 29th, and we're going to continue with our journey to the past.
That's right. We have a couple of events that we are going to share with our listeners. But first, here is a quiz question. A thesaurus is a reference book containing mainly, number one, abbreviations, or number two, synonyms. One more time. A thesaurus is a reference book containing mainly, number one, abbreviations, or number two, synonyms. All right. If you know the answer, you can text it in, pounder sharp 1045 on your cell phone for 51, or you can leave your answers on our Bundy board, and you could win an eco bag and mug cup.
Okay, out of all those great significant things that have happened on this day, we're going to focus on two items, and here's the list.
Today in history. In 1852, the first edition of Peter Roget's Thesaurus was published, and in 1968, the musical Hair opened on Broadway.
So we're going to begin today's journey to the past with the publication of not just a book or magazine, but an indispensable tool for learning, speaking, and of course, writing in English.
And that publication was none other than the first modern and widely used, is it Roget or Roget's Thesaurus? It was originally titled the Thesaurus of English Words and Phrases, classified and arranged so as to facilitate the expression of ideas and assist in literary composition.
What a long title that is.
That was the title, exactly.
네,
Too long, right?
그렇습니다. 자, published for the first time on this day in 1852, the Roget's Thesaurus was created by Dr. Peter Mark Roget, and in the same way that we relate Webster with dictionaries, the name Roget has become synonymous with thesaurus.
Now, he saw the need to make a compilation of English synonyms, which he argued was a necessary feature of languages without which communication would be impossible. Besides, one of Roget's hobbies was collecting and classifying words according to their meanings, and by 1805, he had amassed an inventory of words and phrases organized in the same way that would become his thesaurus.
A thesaurus that was first introduced to the world with 15,000 words, a number that kept increasing at each edition. So today, the book has over 230,000 words.
Wow. Now, you may wonder, where does the word thesaurus come from? Well, the word comes from the Greek word that means literally treasure store.
어머. 그렇구나. 자, 동의어 사전이라고 할 때 thesaurus가 되잖아요. 근데 이 thesaurus라는 말 자체가 무슨 뭐 공룡, sounds like one of those like dinosaurs names.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
네, 그래서 공룡 이름 같기도 한데 이게 사실은 그리스어에서 나온 그 보물 가게 thesaurus, treasure store라는 뜻을 가지고 있다고 합니다. 네, 재밌네요. Now let's move on to the musical stage, where on this day in 1968, the musical Hair opened on Broadway.
Hair was a rock musical, and it caused such a profound impact when it opened to the public that many of its staple songs became anthems of anti-Vietnam War movements. In fact, a Broadway producer referred to Hair as, quote, the strongest anti-war statement ever written, end quote.
I see. What's more, Hair became a cultural phenomenon, and it was widely accepted by the public as a means to protest against society in a peaceful manner. Even the name of the production was a reflection of how it was challenging the norms of society back then. Well, having long hair was shocking enough, and it was a revolutionary thing to grow one's hair long. Thus, the name Hair.
Exactly. By 1970, Hair was a huge financial success, and according to Billboard, Hair was the most successful score in history, as well as the most performed score ever written for the Broadway stage.
Well, moreover, Hair was Broadway's first concept musical, a form that dominated the stage in the 1970s, including the one we talked about yesterday, a chorus line.
Right. I've never had the opportunity to see Hair. Was that the one that was made was it adapted to film with John Travolta and Christopher Walken? Was he in that as well?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I did see parts of that. And in that, John Travolta played a female role, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that was pretty entertaining to watch.
네. 자, 그렇습니다. 오늘 이렇게 두 가지 또 historic events에 대해서 말씀드렸는데요. Which is really interesting. What is really interesting to me is thesaurus really means treasure store.
Yeah, I
네.
don't quite get how the name is connected to what's inside the book.
그렇죠. 물론 그렇죠. But for the language learner,
Yeah.
하게 되면 thesaurus라고 하는 거는 정말 맨날 똑같은 단어를 쓰다가 좀 다른 단어를 쓰고 싶다라고 할 적에 항상 you can always go back to the thesaurus, something that you can count on.
Oh, yeah,
네,
like a store,
treasure.
right?
네, treasure
Yeah.
store 맞는 것 같습니다.
And for people who have to write papers a lot, a thesaurus really is a treasure because you can't keep using the same words all the time, right?
Right.
Yeah, true.
자, a thesaurus is a reference book containing mainly abbreviations or synonyms, and the answer is?
Synonyms, number 2.
And that's all we have for Today in History today, but we'll be back tomorrow with more from the past.
And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with the director of the British Council Korea, Mr. Martin Fryer, will be joining us in the studio. First, enjoy this from the Supremes and Diana Ross, Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In.